Today we're going to be talking about the type of real estate that you can acquire.
As a single professional, I had debt and no savings after my divorce. I always wonder how I can start investing in real estate to secure my future. I studied programs that gave me all the benefits of investing in real estate. Some claim I could start with no money, but I could not find one that gave me the practical, actionable steps I needed. As a wealth advisor, I've met people that own real estate but weren't ahead financially. They were rich, but they weren't wealthy. Then I finally realized that there was one vital component missing that makes someone become wealthy or not. And on the show, I will reveal what I found and give you the step-by-step actions to start investing in real estate and increase your wealth. My name is Araceli. Let's get started.
So now you're becoming a real estate investor. So what are you going to do? Let's discuss what kind of properties are there that you can buy. Remember, there are many different strategies that you can apply in real estate, but we all only have 4 basic type of properties. And the properties are residential, commercial, industrial, and land. There's nothing else that you can buy. And depending on what your interest is, you may go down the road to buy specific properties, and that would be your niche. So we're just going to talk about in general about all of these things and how they work. So let's look at residential properties. The residential properties, we have our single family homes, multifamily homes, which could be a duplex, triplex, fourplex, fiveplex, all the way up to a building. Then we have condominiums, mobile homes, and townhouses. And townhouses, in some cases, they're very similar to single family homes, but they are attached to a complex. And those complexes usually have rules. So you have to be careful if you're going to be investing in something like townhomes. But it's a really good entry point for somebody that is just starting out and that they want to buy a property to live in. Single family homes are usually the biggest thing for investors. So what they do is they buy the property and they rent it out. You can keep it and wait until it appreciates, but why don't you get some cash flow in the meantime? So majority of investors will rent the house and they'll use the money to pay for the mortgage. So if you do have a property that is cash flow neutral, that means that the rent that you're getting from your tenant is paying the entire mortgage and maybe some of the other utilities. In this case, you have a cash flow neutral property that is somebody else is paying for, and then you're going to reap the benefits of getting the appreciation over time depending on what your strategy is. In multifamily homes, it works in a similar manner, but it does spread the risk, and then you have 2, 3, or 4 people actually paying for the rent. And if you do happen to have one tenant that is not paying the rent, or maybe you have a vacant unit, then you still have at least another one paying for the rent, so you're spreading the risk. So those are some of the strategies to use in residential homes. Let's look at commercial real estate. And this is any property used for retail purposes or office space. Investors usually buy these properties and rent them out to business owners who need the space to run their businesses. That could be anybody from retail stores, restaurants, or any small business offices, like maybe an accountant or tax offices. Commercial properties are a little bit more complex than residential real estate. In residential real estate, you just get a home, you know what the appreciation is, you know what the rent is. However, with commercial properties, the actual value of the property, it's a little bit more different because it depends on what kind of business you have attached to the property. It could be that is going to increase the value or is going to decrease the value. So that is not, it's not a black and white like it could be in residential, that you will know what people are willing to pay for. So that's a little bit more difficult, and it will be more for advanced real estate investors. And the reason it is that because you're not able to find the exact value of the property just as good as you can find the value on a residential home, then sometimes you don't know if the value is what you really want to pay for. So you need to do a little bit more digging. Also, when you're renting a commercial property, you have to draw papers that are a little bit more extensive, especially because the renters are going to be modifying the property according to their needs. Like maybe a restaurant, they might need to do the kitchen and do some of their specific colors and things that they need to do, as well as it's not going to be for the shorter term. Most residential lease will be a minimum of 1 year. Sometimes in commercial leases, you're gonna see something in the 3 to 5 to 7, sometimes 10 years lease. So the paperwork is a little bit more complicated. If you are financing your commercial property, you're gonna see that you're gonna need a big down payment. You can expect a minimum of 25 to 50% down payment. You need to have really good credit, and in some cases the lending institutions will require to have a lease signed with the person that is going to be renting that space from you. The next type of real estate is industrial, and these ones are large buildings, and they typically use for manufacturing companies, warehouses, or any type of distribution company. This type of properties are more geared to really savvy investors, maybe that you have been in the business for a long time and you have accumulated quite a bit of money. These properties are expensive, but they also could be very lucrative in the long term, because you are going to be leasing this property for a really long time, sometimes 10 years or more, depending on what they are. The companies that usually rent this type of properties will be there in the long term because they have to set up, and their setup is quite expensive. Commercial buildings are usually quite large, and sometimes the tenants' needs can change very quickly. But with a savvy investor, they will know that the profits are quite large. And the last type of real estate is land. And of course, all of the other types that we've seen, they require land. And could be a very risky investment, especially because it's not producing any passive income, unless you buy a farm land that could be rented to someone that is going to be working on the land. But if you are buying the land because you think that this is going to appreciate, or maybe you're going to be selling it down the road to a developer, that could be a very lucrative piece of investment. However, that takes a lot of research and sometimes a little bit of a gut feeling, because sometimes you really have to get lucky. Some things that you think that is going to appreciate, or maybe that you know that the population is growing and it's going to go that way, might not result in that direction. So you just have to be careful. But I think this is something that a lot of the bigger real estate investors could do. And maybe that's something that you're into if you're a developer. You're looking for good land where to build your next house complexes. As a summary, for a real estate investor, the type of real estate that you can buy is residential, commercial, industrial, or land. Each one has its own specific niche So which one are you gonna go for? Please tell me in the comments. I would like to find out why you're picking that specific niche. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for being here on the show. Please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified when there are more shows available. And if you would like to have more information on how to start investing in real estate, please visit my website at www.aracelihernandez.com. Thank you.